All right, good morning, guys. Today is December 7th, and I hope you guys are having a great day this Monday morning. Okay, so this video is being created for two reasons. First reason, it's going to help you look back, okay? So even if you were at our virtual meetup this morning, you can look back and see what we did one more time if you need to review. If you are not there, you can look at this video and see what we did so that it can help you complete your exit ticket. So either way, I'm glad you're watching, and we are going to go ahead and start with our number talk for today. So for our number talk for today, I want you to solve problems 1 and problems 2. Go ahead, take a moment, pause your video, and solve those equations. All right, so your answer for number 1 should have been 5, and your answer for number 2 should have been 52. All right, and if you're going, uh-oh, I didn't get those answers, go ahead and stick with me so we can see why those are the correct answers. All right, first we're going to start with our I can statement. I can evaluate a numerical expression with more than one operation using the order of operations. And remember, what's highlighted is the most important. So when I'm talking about evaluating, I'm talking about finding the value of something. Okay, a numerical expression is what we learned about last time, okay? It is those numbers set up with our symbols to tell us if we are going to multiply, divide, add, or subtract. So we want to find a value for those with more than one operation, okay? More than one symbol. So we could have multiplying and subtracting. We could have dividing and adding. We could have multiplying and dividing, or adding and subtracting. So there's lots of different things that could look like. But in all cases, we need to use the order of operations. So, dun 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 dun, order of operations. Here it is being introduced. And you guys have already done this earlier this year, but we're going to go ahead and revisit it, okay? Because it was kind of difficult for us then, and we want to make sure it's really solid in our brains right now. Okay, so when we're talking about the order of operations, we're talking about the order that we solve a problem in. Okay, so our parentheses are always going to go first. Then our exponents, which we learned about. We're going to then multiply or divide, so whichever one comes first, moving left to right. Okay, multiply or divide, that's the same step. And then the last step is addition or subtraction. Okay, so I'm going to clearly mark out step, that's very small. Step 1, step 2, this is step 3, and this is step 4. Okay, and what helps us remember this, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtraction, is this nice little mnemonic, which is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. We take the first letter of each of those to remind us parentheses, then exponents, multiply, divide, addition, subtraction. Please excuse me, says dear Aunt Sally. So if we were to apply this to what we did before, okay, and I'm going to put it right here. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. I know that I need to start off with what here? Which one comes first? Division or subtraction? Well, let's look right here. Does division or subtraction come first? It's division, right? So first, I'm going to divide, and I know that 6 divided by 8 is 8. And now I can move to my next operation, which is subtraction. Minus 3 equals 5. Okay, now I'm going to move to the next one. Here I'm looking at what two operations? Addition and multiplication. Which of these needs to come first? Multiplication. Okay, so 5 times 9 is 45. Okay, now I can move to my next operation, which is addition. 7 plus 45 is 52. All right, so that's how we figure that out. Let's go a little bit deeper. This says a bread recipe calls for 4 cups of wheat flour and 2 cups of rye flour. To triple the recipe, how many cups of flour are needed in all? Okay, so to triple the recipe, I know I'm going to need to multiply the 4 cups of wheat flour and multiply the 2 cups of rye flour both by 3 because I'm tripling it. Okay, so I'm going to set up an equation kind of like this. I know that I need 3 times 4 to know how many cups of wheat flour, and 3 times 2 to know how many cups of rye flour. But my question says, how many cups of flour are needed in all? Okay, so we're talking about all the flour. So then I'm going to add those two to get all the flour that's needed. Okay, and this now is where PEMDAS comes into place. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I need to know my order of operations. Okay, so let's underline the symbols that we see for our operations. We have multiply, add, multiply. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and underline those. Which of those is going to come first? Multiplication or addition? Multiplication, right? Awesome. So I have 2 multiplication signs. So what I'm going to do is go left to right. Okay, we always start with the one that's on the left first. Okay, so left, then right, just like we're reading. We read this direction, left to right. Okay, so 3 times 4, I know that that equals 12, plus 3 times 2 we know equals 6. And now I can move to my addition. 12 plus 6 is 12 plus 6 is 18. All right. So, our final answer is 18. Gabriella said that she would do 3 times 4 plus 3 times 2, just like we did. She set it up the same way. But she decided to add first and then multiply. So she added the 4 plus 3, which gave her 7. Okay, it gave her this 7 right here. And then she went ahead and multiplied all of them. So she did 3 times 7 times 2, which gave her the number 42. Okay, we see that that's not the same as 18. Okay, so it's so important that we follow our order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right, let's look at one more thing together today. Okay, so I want you to guys to go ahead and work this out on your own. And I'm going to go ahead and put our order of operations in the corner so you remember. And pause this video if you haven't already, because we are going to work it out together. All right, so let's work this out. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to underline all of my operations. Okay, so I've got addition, I've got multiplication, and I've got subtraction. And remember, guys, before we start, multiplication and division is the same step, and addition and subtraction is the same step. So it's just going to depend on which one comes before. Okay. So first we have, ding, 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 multiplication. So I am going to do, we'll just do this. 12 times 8 is what? I'm going to go ahead and do it to the side. 2 times 8 is 16. 1 times 8 is 8. Plus our 1 from up here is 9. So we know it's 96. Okay, so if you didn't already know that, 96. Then I'm going to bring down my other operations. So I had plus 6 over here, minus 3 over here. Now I'm going to move to my next operation, okay, which we know addition and subtraction are the same step. Okay, they're the same step. So I'm going to start with the one on the left and move to the right, just like I read, from left to right. Okay, so 6 plus 96 is, 96 plus 6 is 92, or excuse me, 102. Okay, 102 minus 3 is 99. Alrighty. Awesome. One last thing. How could I use parentheses to make this 144? Oh, excuse me, 141 is what I want to make this. How could I use parentheses to do that? So remember, whatever is inside the parentheses goes first. Go ahead and experiment with this for a moment. Okay, try it out on your own, and then we will talk about it together. Okay, so let's talk about it together. Here are different groups that you could make with the parentheses. We could do 6 plus 12. We could do, let's see. We could do 12 times 8, which we know that's not going to really help us because we got to do that first anyway. Or we could do 8 minus 3 first. Okay, and for the sake of time, I'm going to just choose one and we're going to go with it. Okay, but you could work out both of those to figure out which one to do. So I'm going to put my parentheses around my 6 plus 12. Okay, so 6 plus 12, we know that 6 plus 12 is 18. Okay, 18 times 8 minus 3. So our first thing that we would have underlined up here, so I don't skip steps, first thing we would have underlined was the parentheses, okay, the parentheses. Then we have addition, multiplication, and subtraction. But remember that addition, it doesn't matter anymore because it's inside the parentheses, so we know it's just going to have to go first. So we would underline parentheses, multiplication, and subtraction. Okay, so we did our parentheses first. Next is multiplication. Okay, so we already did this. Now it's time for multiplication. 18 times 8. Let's do it over here to the side. 8 times 8 is 4. So 64, so I'm just putting the 4 down there. 1 times 8 is 8. Plus the 6 from up here is 14. Okay, so I have a total of 144. And the last thing to do is subtract 3. 144 minus 3 is 141. Okay, it becomes a totally different answer when we use parentheses to do a part of the equation first. All right, so go ahead and work on your exit ticket. If you need more help, remember to message your teacher on Schoology. Great job, guys, and we will see you at 11 o'clock for ELA.